Hi, everyone. I am so excited today because I have with us Dani Henderson, and she is known globally. Of course, I'll have all her information running across the screen. Today, we're going to be talking about several really exciting topics. We're going to discuss uncovering suppressed technology, hidden sciences, redacted ancient history, and secret space programs, if we could get to them all. Dani, thank you so much for being with me today. As I mentioned to you before, I'm such a huge fan. I know it makes you uncomfortable, but I am such a huge fan of yours. Your work inspires me and millions across the globe. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Caroline. Thanks for inviting me on your beautiful channel. And I'm so excited that this is going to go out to the network that you're connected to as well. It's wonderful to be here. And yeah, it does make me so uncomfortable. I've got no interest in being famous or a celebrity. I've got a job to do. I'm on a mission and I'm doing it. And it's simply telling the truth. It's simply putting everything out there. It's simply exposing every single corrupt system on our planet. And sadly, every single system in place is or at some level of corruption. And it's our duty to uncover and show everyone the reality of the world they actually live in. That's my whole agenda.
Absolutely. And I'm on board with that 110%. And that's the whole reason why I do what I do as well, to bring folks like you on and uncover this truth. I want to talk about your book as well. You wrote a brilliant book called Angels, Demons, and Aliens, True Documented Paranormal Investigations and Alien Interactions. And of course, we're going to be talking about that today as well. So Dani, if you don't mind, just for the folks that may not be familiar with you, if you could give us some of your background, take as long as you need, where you started and kind of where you're at today. So please do us the honor.
Thank you so much. So I'll keep it as brief as I can. My first ever memory is as a baby, and people say that that's not possible, but they're just simply wrong. You know, maybe they're not so evolved, or able to recall memories in the brain as some of us can. As many people like me, I'm really not that special, but I do have this amazing ability to recall memory and experiences from before I was able to physically fully verbalize. And I was physically fully verbal at 19 months old, according to my parents. And so my first memory ever pretty much is my birth. My birth was very traumatic. They thought I was going to die. I had a medical situation. So my mother was taken to Hastings, Sussex, England. You know, people that have heard of Hastings, William the Conqueror, 1066. Anyway, there was a hospital called the Buchanan, and I was taken there because they said if I was born and I survived, I would have to go into this special machine. So it was all very dramatic, but my mum died. Now, my mum was resuscitated before anybody thinks she's dead. She's alive, very much alive today. But at the time, the focus was on me to keep me alive, but she died. She had near-death experience, and anyway, that's another story. But I remember the whole drama of the flashing lights. I remember being held roughly. I remember being pulled on wheels and seeing green paint on the walls and black and white tiles. And that's exactly how the Buchanan Hospital was decorated. And there's obviously no way I could have known that. I'm a newborn. But it served to make a marker, a signature imprint in my memory. So when I was triggered one day at 7 watching TV with my brothers and my mom, I remember she was beehiving her hair, combing her hair back in the 70s like they used to, spraying her hair with hairspray, hoping the budgie didn't die. I remember going, I've been there. My mum's like, what? I said, I know that place. I've been there. She goes, how could you? You were born there. I said, I've been there. And that was the first time I realized that some of the things I'd already also recalled could actually be true. Second memory was being a baby, like months old, and sitting up in my crib and looking up as this beautiful man being, this alien being with this huge head and these massive, beautiful indigo deep eyes and this light brown skin. And even as my voice softens to this kind of different tone, because that was the frequency of this being. And he was gently placing me into my crib. And then I remember he placed me and I put my back against the wooden bar, and I remember feeling the wooden bars in the wooden crib and looking at his face as he's beaming down, and he's gently gliding back, and he stood back by the curtains, and he's just standing there looking at me. And then I'm, wanting, like, would you put me, let's go. Like, and then I remember looking down and seeing the light under the door. I was in my parents' bedroom. My mum comes in and he disappeared. And then she's like to my dad, oh, she's awake. Like, I remember this like it happened 2 minutes ago. That's the they upstairs, our beloved brothers and sisters, ET brothers and sisters, the spiritual guidance that we all have, the angels that exist for all of us, whatever location you want to put them or what label you want to give them, they make sure that us as a humanity will remember certain marker points in our lives for such a time as this. My mum picks me up, puts me on a hip, takes me downstairs and starts unpegging washing. It's nighttime. I'm seeing stars, I'm seeing the moon, and I am pissed off. I don't understand. And I'm only 6 months old. I don't have the ability yet to talk, so I start crying because I don't want to be here. I don't want to be on this lady's hip. I want to be with him. Years later, it turns out that the him that came for me, that took me upstairs for what we call a checkup, is a beautiful being called an Ergoroth. And this Ergoroth, his name is Annex. And if we go outside and we look at the night sky and we find the belt of Orion, he comes from the star system, which is represented by the middle star. You got 3 stars, 1, 2, 3. He is the middle star. And so that's his part of, Al-Nalam, Mesa. There's a whole star system right there. So that was, one of my first memories. And then moving forward, the house we lived in was a shocking horrorville. And we lived in shitty houses. It was a shitty estate for people on low income, a lot of violence, a lot of sexual degradation, lots of people beating their kids up. It was the 70s. Nobody cared. You could beat your wife up. You could beat your kids up. Your neighbor could beat your kids up too. Britain was a very aggressive, illiterate, place where I lived. And that's how I grew up, observing all of this. And in a dark area of trauma, violence, sexual abuse, all of those negative, low vibration, you attract every kind of low vibration, demonic, energy. People are getting possessed because they're off their heads on drugs and drink, and that's what'll do it. You're completely open to possession. Well, my goodness me, the things I saw in that house, awful. And that's why I wrote my book, Carol, because I know there are so many people like me. And it's really important for me that people understand that angels, demons, and aliens, they are not the same being. And I'm going to say this till the day I die because it's true. And I say it, Carol, because I've had the experience of meeting physically all 3 of these species. Mm-hmm. What they do, the demonics sometimes pretend to be angels.
Yes.
And the aliens sometimes pretend to be angels and demonics. And they're called mimics. But we humans are so extraordinarily equipped with, frequency resonators, frequency detectors, radars, that we often instantly feel if something's wrong. Here's a quick example. I was a nursery nurse. That was my first career, maternity nursing. And I was looking after an 8-week-old baby. And his sister had barely survived a terrible accident. So the parents hired me to watch the baby while they could tend to their toddler. He was less than 2. I'm in my room at night next to the baby's room, and I'm trying to go to sleep, but something is wrong, and I can feel it because I'm very, very clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient, claircognizant. And I go into the baby's room, and there is an angel standing with his hands together in prayer stance, with his head bowed, standing over the baby. Now, the first second when I looked at it, my natural instinct was, ugh. And then the second thing was, oh no, the programming of, oh, it's an angel. Maybe the angel's here to look after the baby. And then the third second, when I realized what it is I'm looking at, I punched out at it and I kicked out at it as hard as I could. And I said, fuck off.
Yeah.
Because it was a demonic. And then when I went back in my mind, which we all can do in a split second, it's called recall. When I recall what I've just seen, I realized that this pretend fake angel was completely naked and it had no wings. So what the hell was a naked angel doing standing over an 8-week-old baby? And because we've been raised and force-fed and threatened and shamed and humiliated in every single religion, maybe not Hinduism, but every single Western religion, modern religion, that we don't dare question these things. Well, I do. I get my spiritual boots out and I'm like, put in there, you know, and I do not worry about people's opinions. We are so past that.
Yeah.
One of the things, Carol, that we are in this spiritual war. It's spiritual warfare. Let's all forgive after the war, guys. But there's everyone going, oh, you can't do that and you can't say that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, from birth to now, this has been my activity, my visuals, my experiences. And I'm not backing down for anybody.
Right.
You know, don't put the Pope in front of me because all I'll do is slap him about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Systems need to be questioned. They need to be legitimized. They need to be taken down. And that's really what we're seeing at this time.
Wow. That's incredible. I wanted to also touch on your website. You have a conference, I guess it is, right? Or is it more just it's a conference, isn't it?
It's the greatest conference in disclosure at this time on our planet is what it is. And it's called Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection. It connects every being on the planet, male, female. It connects the hybrids. It connects people that know their star seeds. It connects the odd ones, the black sheep like I was, the ones that are like, what am I doing here? I don't want to be on this planet. I don't know anyone like me. It brings all of us together. And we are believed and we are listened to and we are respected. And the speakers are unbelievable. Most of them, as you know, Alex Collier, Dr. Michael Sala, Elena Danan, Tony Rodriguez, the most incredible speakers of our time. There's the UFOs just a few weeks ago. The UFOs that came. A fleet of spacecraft, Caroline.
Yeah, I'm showing. Johnny, I'm actually sharing your website right now with the video of the craft. If you can kindly go over that for folks so they know what they're looking at.
Yeah, can you hear it audibly? If you go underneath, you'll see the little musical sign. Go down and again. Is it playing for you?
No, just the video's playing.
That's a shame. There should be a little musical sign, like a double quaver sign, and you click that. It's on the left, on the right-hand side.
There we go.
It's not playing. It's not playing over Zoom. What you're seeing there is this fleet of spacecraft that Elena Danan, who's the emissary for the Galactic Federation of Worlds, said to everyone at the next conference, which was September 27th, come outside at 9 o'clock and look up and you're going to see something. And a massive fleet of identified spacecraft. They weren't UFOs and they certainly weren't the fake brainwashing MK Ultra word UAP, lest we not dare to allow the puppets at the top, the puppet masters, to make us say, after all these years of saying UFO, UAP,
right.
Get lost. We're not playing your game. These, though, they weren't unidentified flying objects. They were identified spacecraft. And they flew over the hotel. Can you imagine? In the whole of the world, there was almost 1,000 people at my conference at GISIC. We call it GISIC for short, Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection. 1,000 people outside looking up, and we saw with our own eyes a beautiful space fleet. And they dove and they banked and they span and they shone green lights and they came together and they split apart, and you should have heard the crowd. And that clip you just shared, I invite everyone to go to our website. That's the first thing you'll see. And my God, you could feel and hear the crowd. They were euphoric. They couldn't believe it. It made the skeptics melt. They're like, oh my God, there is absolutely no way I can dismiss what I'm seeing with my own eye. And we recorded it and we captured it. And then the other great thing that happened was to prove that Elena Danan is working directly with the Off-Planet Galactic Federation of Worlds, which sounds ridiculous. If no one's heard that, they're like, Galactic Federation of Worlds, spiritual mumbo jumbo. No, I'll tell you what the spiritual mumbo jumbo is and be very clear. It is the Galactic Federation of Light. Light. When you hear that, that is the hijacked, made up New Age. There's no such thing as New Age. What we've had, ancient technology, we've always had. So, but it's a CIA operation to make people feel stupid, put them into a little pen and say, no, it's a Galactic Federation of Light, which is a grey alien psyop. It's very dangerous. It is highly dangerous. So the Galactic Federation of Worlds works directly with the Earth military, the White Hats, the Earth Alliance. And we prove that. And so Elena brought in a triangular military spacecraft, a triangular one. Now, these TR-3Bs, as they're known, they're not supposed to exist, Carol-Ann. And this flew so low, this military craft from a base down the road. We didn't know it was coming. We had no idea. Flew low over the crowd. And it went over me and I was up. I was in a panic, like, oh my God, please come up and say, don't you let her down, because we're all standing. Can you imagine the pressure? We're standing outside and Lena is as cool as cheese. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got to walk away. I've got to walk away and take a breath because I'm so excited. I know they're coming, but what if they don't come for an hour and a half and people miss it? That's what I was thinking, because we'd never done this before. Right. So I walk away. And then this triangular craft, it comes really low. And when it flew low, I think I was the first one to scream. I'm like, oh my God, like, look up. And it was so amazing. Not only was it so low, its lights were off at that time. But then when it flew over the 1,000 people, it shone its green lights in each corner. And you can see it in the footage. We've got lots of footage of it. It was a momentous moment. It was joyous.
Can you tell us a little bit about Elena? Just so
Elena.
Elena, just so they have I subscribe to her and follow her, of course, too, but just give folks a brief overview of who she is.
Yeah, Elena Danan, first and foremost, she's my best friend in the universe. Elena Danan is a French woman who lives in Ireland, who has proven over and over again her physical interactions with our beautiful ET brothers and sisters. She's named them as Thorhan Aredian. And Thorhan Aredian is a Pleiadian, and I physically seen him too, and physically. And so for me, why I talk so passionately, Carol-Ann, is because I come from a strong stance of experience, as does she. We're not in makey up bollocks land. We're not, nobody cares. We don't care. If people don't believe us, bye there. We've got a job to do and we're doing it. Catch up later. But her physical interactions, the information she's brought, NASA shakes in its boots. Okay, no one believes NASA anymore. NASA was created by the Nazis. It's from Project Paperclip, World War II, and Operation High Jump. Again, people can get offended. Go do some research, and then we'll see you at the winning gate. Because now we've got no more time. And people say that the day someone said to me, "Prove it." I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's my God. I got stuff to do. There's enough information." But Elena Danan has done the work. She's put the work in. This is her book, The Seeders. This is absolutely incredible. The Seeders talks about the races that seeded the planet. And it is historical. And it's so interesting. So many things she's done. I remember, 2 or 3 years ago, she said to us on her YouTube channel, she said, there has been a massive quake on Mars. Meaning it's a Mars quake. Right, we didn't think about it, big earthquake. No, it's on Mars, so it's a Mars quake. And then she said to me, he said, you wait and see. NASA will have to come out now and report it because she's put it out there. Sure enough, 2 weeks later, NASA comes out. There was a Mars quake. We're like, NASA, go away. Now, there are really great people that work for NASA, and I feel bitterly sorry for them. I spent years myself in the space industry, in satellite manufacture. I was the person that recruited the personnel for all the major projects, the Ariana project. I mean, the major projects, from the science to the propulsion to the thermal to the composite materials to the reflectors to the telemetry to the payload, you name it. I knew the whole wrap of the entire process, and I was the one that hired and fired, the teams. And so it's so funny. Again, I come from a very strong standpoint in the space industry too, and it's so funny. In a lifetime, when we map like our careers, we're like, why did I do that? Why was I in that? Why did I go to college for journalism after I was a nursery nurse? Well, now I know. It all makes sense now. But Elena, the information she's brought, she keeps bringing, and the book she's written, and the rewriting of history, because so much of our ancient history has been redacted. We've been lied to. I mean, do you know, even right now in Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, another major temple, Göbekli Tepe, and its sister temple called Karahan Tepe, which is a few miles away. The man that owned the land that basically it's planted a ton of olive trees over areas that haven't been excavated. It has been proven that there is a link to one of the worst organizations on our planet, and that is the World Economic Forum. Now, people have got to understand, and they're going to be so upset, and I'm just going to say it, United Nations. Again, not everyone in the United Nations. When you find out what the United Nations is, who created it, what was the thinking behind it, what is the occultism in the United Nations, people are going to have to lay down and get a glass of water. For those that aren't aware yet, I mean, it's a nightmare. It's horrible. Because you think, well, and then you hear people like me coming along, you're like, oh, be quiet, I don't want to hear it. Oh, too bad. So sad. We haven't got time for drama. We've all had plenty of time to catch up. That's what COVID did for us. Yeah. It got us to open our eyes and drop our blinkers and go, what the hell's going on?
Right, exactly.
I do have empathy. I do. And I do have compassion for people that are shocked. But it is what it is. We haven't got time to stand back and pick you up.
Absolutely. Plus, as you know, you can't force wake people up. They need to wake up in their own way and at the right time for them. But I agree, these three-letter, alphabet agencies are just not good. And the World Economic Forum is definitely at the top of that list, with Klaus Schwab and his "you will own nothing, be happy," and the whole nightmare. But and of course, folks, in the description of this video, I will have the links to everything we're talking about today, and I will also have them running across the screen. So make sure you head over to the description, and you'll see the links to your book, your conference, Alana's book. I'll make sure I put everything down there.
Thank you.
Of course. So what do you think? I wanted to talk to you about disclosure. And, it's been a big topic, especially the past 2-3 years. And what as sad as it is, we need some type of government disclosure. People need to know the truth, and whether the governments of this globe is going to give it to them or not remains to be seen. But what does disclosure look like to you? Like in the world?
It looks like my conference. You cannot trust a single government. They don't care about us. They have redacted and kept back healing technology. We are cattle, we are fodder, we are nothing to any government, period. And they've proven it over and over. They've got one job. Not one cold, not one hungry, not one homeless person, okay? And the whole world is in disarray. Every single government has failed. They are failures. So we realize we've got to do it on our own. We ain't got time for them. They don't care about us. Disclosure looks like my conference. You come together, you bring the craft, you prove that the military, the good military, and the good ETs, the benevolent brothers and sisters that, by the way, look just like you and I. I look more like a Pleiadian. In some regard, you look more like a Syrian or an Andromedan. You know what I mean? We come to understand the physical signature frequencies and markers in these physical bodies that we inhabit as humans on this planet. And there are so many ETs, extraterrestrials, but they call themselves humans too. We've been programmed to separate, You know, that was a mistake too that we fell for. But, you know, disclosure to me, it's like we've had so many, like David Grush came forward, you know, Stephen Greer, you know, all these people. And and then yesterday it was announced that my good friend, Dr. Michael Sala, has been nominated for working for the Trump administration. Now, this goes with Trump. I want to see, and I do with everybody, don't tell me who you are, show me who you are. So if you say you're going to do this, this, and this, you better do it, boy. You better do it. And anyone that thinks that there's this one man, Trump, is in charge of all the militaries, oh, stop it. Just stop it. It's not Jesus. This is another error. The error is to put everything on one single individual leader, because that's how we've been raised as children. That's how we were raised. And it's not acceptable. We're a humanity. And so, you know, it looks like Trump is going to be telling the truth, releasing suppressed technology, helping the Ukrainians. That's a massive one. Do you know, in England, you know, I've lived in America for so many years, as you know, in Costa Rica and Hawaii and Florida, California, for so many years. So I've really understood and lived in the culture fully in America. Oh my God, now I'm back in England right now. The hatred of Trump and Putin. And it's an insane, like it's an aggressive, the Brits can be very aggressive, like really, really aggressive, you know. I mean, if they fight abroad with the Russians at football and during football, you call it soccer, we call it football. They call them football hooligans. They'll kill each other. The Russians and the English has happened for years. You know, there's a really violent mentality in a lot of British people. And it's true, I'm British. You know, I know it's true, but I think it also can exist in every culture, especially Western cultures.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so you asked me, what does disclosure look like? It looks like I said, people saying, this is what we have for you. This is, we've got this crystal technology. We released it at my conference. It's called Frill technology. And the most basic way to describe it is a clear quartz crystal. And it can be a Vogel cut, which was a beautiful man, Marcel Vogel, who learned cutting a crystal a certain way releases other frequencies, because crystals are living. They're alive. Of course they're alive. We've got a crystal right here that emits piezoelectricity. You know, our pineal gland. You know? And then right back there we have the pituitary, and the two can work in tandem. There's just so much to say. I want to keep it quite condensed if I can. But Frill energy is released by this clear quartz crystal, and it's wrapped in silver and copper. And then it's on a base that's slightly agitated, kind of like an ultrasonic frequency. And as that is agitated, it emits a frequency. And at some point, our houses are going to be running on Frill energy, and we won't pay a bill. We won't pay an internet, an electric bill, and we never should have. Because right back in 1897, as early as that, we had drone technology, remote control technology, you know, remote control submarines. We had Wi-Fi telecoms. We had a way of harnessing the electricity on our planet and running it through one tower, the Walden Cliff Tower that Nikola Tesla created. He proved alternate current. You know, Edison wanted direct current. Let's build a tower in every town. And JP Morgan says, yes, and we'll tax the people. We'll make the people pay. And Tesla was like, why would you do that? When you can power up city upon city using one tower and bouncing the signal out and having it come back. And do you know what they did? Some of the things they did to discredit darling Nikola Tesla. They used this beautiful circus elephant. I think her name was Rosie. And there's photographs. It's all there, of course. They wouldn't redact that. They electrocuted this beautiful circus elephant, Carol Ann, to make the point that Nikola Tesla's electrical bounce back, the harnessing, could electrocute people. And so they electrocuted an elephant to shock the public. And so then his work went down, and we had to suffer, as we still do, with Thomas Edison's rubbish direct direct current. It's
Well,
so frustrating.
if you look at Tartarian history, a lot of the buildings that are still existing, they're very detailed to show you how that whole premise actually works. So,
You know, let me tell you something really, really exciting. God. Okay, so I don't know whether you've heard of this guy, but he's going to speak at our next two conferences. His name is Praveen Mohan. Praveen Mohan, an Indian man, massive channel, 2 million. And he's got a channel in Hindi, a channel in Tamil, because in India, you know, they respect him so much, and he is such a big deal. Now, his focus is ancient technology. And what he's going into mostly the Hindu temples, and he's showing us the hidden iconography, the hieroglyphs, images, the carvings, where we've known from beginning of time. Just look at the Hopi Indians, you know, the Apache, the Cheyenne, the Sioux, all the cave drawings, hieroglyphs, pictographs, any image, anywhere, the monolithic statues, they've always shown interesting looking beings, spacecraft, flying saucers, symbology coming from Earth to, you know. And if you want to jump forward to more modern times, we can look at the Bible, some of the books there, Book of Enoch. They say there's two angels, two archangels. One is called Sandalphon, and the other one is called Metatron. I thought that was a makey up, a silly Transformer figure. But anyway, apparently,
Transformer.
It does. So Sandalphon and Metatron apparently are the original Bible stories of Enoch and Elijah, who were able to take their technology. We are this beautiful scientific consciousness, take their beingness, take their physical bodies with them, which people say we're going to be doing as we're ascending into from fourth to fifth now, to fourth to fifth dimension to 5D. But maybe that's a bit too much of a jump. But the technology that we are, the witnessing, it's been in the Upanishads and the Vedas and the ancient texts it's all there. And Praveen Mohan, he does a beautiful job. I invite everyone to go to his channels, and he is linking. And so what I'm doing this year in my conferences is linking the redacted, hidden technology on the giants. And I've got Hugh Newman, who's coming in to share his work on the giants, the Nephilim.
Oh,
the Nephilim, the angels, right? And then I've got his partner, JJ Ainsworth, and she's going into some of the symbology, which we all need to be aware of. And then I've got Praveen Mohan, who's going to be showing some brand new information, never been seen on YouTube. And that's what he does.
Wow.
And then I've got, like Tony Rodriguez, who was kidnapped by an Illuminati family, put into a satanic hellhole, chained up as a child, and palmed out to people at parties. You see, people make the mistake, as I used to, of assuming everything's separate.
Right.
Religion here, and the satanics are here, engineering is here, and no, it is all one.
It is all interconnected. Absolutely.
Everything. Every single thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is dimensional. Like they're discovering now the connection between like Bigfoots and UFOs. So a lot of, what we call high strangeness is really connected on a dimensional level. I mean, and a lot of the proof's coming out now. But unfortunately, a lot of the population of the globe depends on their government to disclose the truth about ETs and UFOs and whatnot. And a lot of channels like ours are called conspiracy theorists, and it's made up just for views. So do you think at all the governments of the globe will ever be honest about disclosure, or do you think that's just never going to happen?
We don't allow them. We don't give them the power. We remove the power, like Elena Danaan did with NASA. You put it out. You do not allow a governing body that's proven itself to be a massive failure and dark and nefarious and pedophilic and murderous and every bad word you can think of. You do not allow that hand to do one more thing.
Yeah.
That's what we do. So I have no interest. I'm not following a protocol. I'm not following a single human in power on this planet in terms of, oh, I better do as I'm told. I mean, there is a prime directive, there is universal law,
Right.
but disclosure is now in full force. It is rolling out. No one's stopping it. Some people are so incredibly selfish. It's all about them,
Yes.
the with them. I mean, what's in it for me? Wait, let me make another billion before I finally tell the truth. Or
That's
let me
true.
hold on to this technology. Oh my God. The light shines on them all. Be sure your sins will find you out, mate. No one's getting away with anything. No one. There's a few people in the military. Yeah, they're panicking. Senior generals. I reached out to one, General Van Herk, who apparently now is retired, to invite him to my conference 2 years ago to say, oi, mate, get on stage and tell everyone that you met with the Pleiadian military commander, Thor Han Aredian, who brought the fleet of spacecraft over with Elena Denham, and he handed you a black disc, a shiny disc with a ton of information from off-planet. The military have been working. The governments of our planet have been working, and we can prove it. Oh my God, it's so easy. 1950s Dwight Eisenhower administration.
Yes.
Now, you and I know, because we've been paying attention, but some people are like, show me proof. You want proof? Okay, unredacted proof, documented. The Dwight Eisenhower administration, he had a cabinet. They called themselves Majestic 12. Some say they were called Majority 12, right? They signed agreements behind Dwight Eisenhower's back with grey ETs. Yep. And the grey ETs said, our planet's dying. We need genetic material. Please can we take some humans and some of their genetic material, and in return we'll give you amazing technology. Not only did the MJ-12, complete and utter bastards, sell humanity out, and millions of people and children were taken.
Yeah.
But they also gave whatever technology they did to the American government, and the American government repressed it.
Yep.
Used some of it in their military as defense against other countries, know. But again, that was completely out of order, And again, back to Tesla, Tesla never wanted, Nikola Tesla never wanted anyone to remember him for the death gamma ray gun.
Right.
He didn't make a death gamma ray gun. He made an instrument that every single country on the planet could use in order to defend itself from incoming attack.
Right.
A laser frequency weapon that could annihilate planes in the sky, as a defense mechanism. And what did the people do? They gave it a bad name. Yeah. They robbed that man of everything he stood for and lived for. And his name will never be forgotten. Right. And it's nothing to do with Elon Musk. I'm mad at Musk for using the name of Tesla. Lithium batteries? Yeah. Are you gone in the head, mate? Yeah. Like, what a failure those electric cars are. Yeah, be offended.
Monumental. Yeah.
What happened in the recent hurricanes? How many lithium mines? The lithium mines. I mean, there's so much corruption. You see, the bad guys, the scumbags, the one-celled amoebas that have been literally running our planet for decades, they lost. And now they're doing their best to and distract and ruin. And then people can't get their head around the fact that there are massive weather manipulation systems.
Oh, yeah.
They can't imagine it. They can't imagine that technology works. I remember when I was in Costa Rica, I used to live there, walking down the beach with my friend Jane and her dogs. And I'm trying to say to her, and we're looking out over the beautiful ocean, and I'm trying to say to her, Jane, there's a way to manipulate the currents, the winds, the clouds, the water. Absolutely. We can cloud seed. She's like, Dani, it's just not possible. The earth is so big. I'm like, mate, there's satellites. There's so many ways. It is now a fine art. And there is a minimum of 11 HAARPs, HAARP, Higher Auroric Aerial Research Program. Yep. And anyone can look it up, HAARP. It's not hidden, it's not redacted, because the government can't hide it. It's a military. It's used the military to they have all these spinners in this, I think it's 23 miles by 23 miles, something acres. Anyway, regardless of the size of it on land, what it does is it sends up these RF frequencies.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when they hit the ionosphere, they heat up. And then it spreads. Oh, my goodness. And there are so many of them. And so it's so easy and explainable. And then when they do the chemtrails, the barium, the aluminium, the strontium, barium, aluminium, titanium, the metals, messing with our upper respiratory systems. You know, they'll go up there. The planes will go up. They'll spray.
Yes.
They'll release. But we could stop that. If people had the guts to go to all the local, airports. I mean, there's so many different ways we can infiltrate this. But then they're using sound. We can't hear it. They're using sound,
right?
And it's spreading the clouds. I mean, sound frequencies. I mean, there's so many easy ways to explain it.
Not only that, there's a viral video that I saw quite a while ago of these massive machines producing clouds, and the gentleman that's recording it. It was some news network, and you see the cloud rise above, and he said it's going to rain in about 11 minutes, and that's exactly what happened. So, like, the proof's out there. People just don't want to see it. I was with a friend, too, and my area was cloud seeded terribly, and there were chemtrails. Just, it looked like a tic-tac-toe board, Donnie. And I said to the person, there's your proof. Oh, no, those are jet trails. That's not, they're just in denial of the whole thing. And there's no convincing them. But on that topic, what do you think is accounting for this massive spiritual awakening that we're having? I mean, I see it. It's a lot of it. People, and like you said, since we had the pandemic, people have had time to like read and research and wake up. And I see, on the good, this awakening of people that they're just not having any of the lies and deception anymore. What do you think is accounting for that? Is it just time for humanity to wake up now? Like, what's your take on that?
So we're going to go into an area, again, same with the heart machines. People can't get their head around actual technological warfare, weather manipulation. Years and years and years and years ago, we were told way back in time, there were no, where the torture chambers happened, people were tortured to death, and that's all gone, and black magic has gone, and witches, the females, and the warlocks, the males. No, that's not done. It has never been more prevalent. When we've been told and lied to, we don't do sorcery and magic and attack and all the rest of it. Oh, yes, they have been doing for a very long time. Now, the biggest difference in the last 4 years, especially since 2021, was that the humans in charge and the humans in these psychotic, satanic, Illuminati families, there's a minimum of 13 families, a minimum, they were not only inhabiting their own physical vessels, they still do today, some of them, some of the famous actors, the singers, the witches that you see out there singing, performing rituals on stage, millions and millions of followers, sold their souls, done their deals for fame and power and glory. So not only were they, and still are some, using demonic entities to ensure this power, and they do a deal so the demonic can come in and get off on whatever it gets off on, sexually, drug-wise, abusing, using a child, a person, whatever. Sure. It's terrible. But there was another layer above that. Okay? So they've got their witchery, their sorcery, their black magic that was binding and bound humanity massively. But above that was the agreements made with the Sakar Draco reptilians. And yes, friend, they existed on this planet, but they don't anymore. Now, they did it. They were here before us. Well, there is a race of reptilians, inner earth reptilians, that existed here before us. But this Draco Sakar reptilian worked alongside the Greys, who made the agreement with the American government to take as many people as they could for genetic material. The reptilians, hideous, the psychopathy of them, the non-feeling, the non-emotion. If you could have as little disdain for an ant that's a nothing, that's the basic feeling of what they had for us. But times that by hatred, the hurt. Anyway, the plug-in of the Saccard reptilians and the grey aliens and the Nebu, a couple of other races too, they've gone. They've been wiped clear. So now the humans in power, even though they're still using witchery, warlockery, black magic spells, occult spells, and attacking people, using the demons, they've lost their plug-in. Their life support to make sure we stay enslaved has gone. That is why a ton of us have gone, what happened?
That makes so much sense.
Right.
So what's a good way to protect ourselves from a lot of this demonic stuff? If you look at even CERN, the Large Hadron Collider, the LHC, if you look at their rituals, they're so demonic, and they just put it out there. They just put it out there. How do we protect ourselves from these forces?
You got one major weapon, and every single person on this planet, without exception, has access to it, and that is love. And when you are imbued with love, that means that you cannot feel fear. Your worst, your weakest element in every single human bar none is fear. When we go into fear, we're scared, we're terrified, but oh my God, listen to half the things I'm sharing, which I'm sure you knew every single thing, but it's good to talk it out to people that maybe don't know. It's our job to put it out there. And so we go into fear, we go, oh my God, this is terrible. Yes, it's terrible. But you are the most powerful being. Do you know there are extraterrestrial civilizations in our solar system and beyond that look at us humans and they're like, oh my goodness. They are the most magical creatures. Our ability to emote, to go from the depths of crying and emotion to the, upper echelons of joy. Even some Pleiadians, they don't have that. They don't have that ability to emote the way we do. There's very, very, very different, very many different civilizations. And I have met several very different looking, beautiful extraterrestrials, and they're in awe of us. They're in awe of us. So our greatest defense, our greatest shield against anything like that is not being afraid.
Yes.
And if you've got language, use language. F-off is great. When I'm doing a land blessing, a land healing, a blessing in someone's house, a removal of any negative entity, for example, which I've done for so many years, been a reverend since 2004, an ordained reverend. I will walk around saying in the name of Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, because I met him. I met Jesus when I was 7 years old in that dreadful demonic house. Yeah, it's in my book. In that awful demonic house, screaming out, help me, I'm going to die. These demonics, when they tried to strangle me, 4 years old. Oh, this is a big one. To anyone out there, if your kids are scared at night, they say there's something in the closet, there's something under the bed, for God's sake, be a superhero. Yes. Don't shut them up just because you were. Remember how scared you were. No one believed you. Well, do your job. Yes. Stand up for that kid. You under the bed, beat the living daylights out of the clothes in the closet, like, come on. And I tell you what else, I'm not a Christian, I'm not religious at all, but I met him and I know he's real. Because I saw him physically in my bedroom with a ton of beautiful angels. But the Holy Bible, even though I think it's been corrupted, it's been spelled on, it's got terrible things in it, there's a magic in that book that the dark is afraid of.
Oh, yeah.
I say to people, throw a Bible under the bed. Throw a Bible under your kids' bed. Don't even tell them. Don't tell them. Do a prayer over it. Do a blessing over it. Chuck it under the bed. Walk away. There is power in all these different things. You know what's really, really, really, to me, evil is all these Christians and Catholics and Jesuits and all these different people that claim to be of a loving, that say, don't do yoga. Yoga's evil.
Yes, I've seen a lot of that.
That's evil. The obesity. Yoga is another form of stretching. No, it's not. It's pointing your vulva up for a demon to come and inhabit you.
Goodness.
Be quiet, you banana brain. Enough of your nonsense.
Right.
If we're not stopping these bodies, we're going to seize up and die.
Well, that's what they want.
The body, exactly. Right. All the stuff is full of pills.
Yeah.
Which again, the pharmacology industry, absolutely, that's getting a caning. That is getting a caning. The criminal injustice, the crimes against humanity. You're seeing, some of the biggest, for me, serial killers on our planet. Bill Gates, massive. Massive.
Yeah.
People are going to go, oh my God, I can't believe he did that. I can't believe he did that. He's into beer. He's into food. He's into modified mosquitoes. Any one of them could.
He's in a lot of trouble too. He's getting sued by countries and everything. People have woken up to that whole nightmare.
Good.
Yeah.
I can't stand looking at him. He's such a wreck.
There's a lot of awful humans. One other thing I don't appreciate is the suppression of our emotions. There's a lot of like gurus out there trying to tell us, keep your emotions at bay. Like they want us walking around like Spock. Now, I'm not saying you have to like be a crazy and wear your emotions on your sleeve, but our emotions, as you stated so beautifully, makes us the loving creatures that we are. And I don't appreciate that. A question to you. Do you think these entities, because I have asked other people that I've interviewed, do you think they have a soul, or were they born soulless? Do you think every living being that comes into this planet has a soul and it gets corrupted? Or do you think there are actual soulless beings?
I think that the whole NCP, the non-player character, was a psyop, a CIA psyop, so that anyone that we didn't like, we could say, oh, that's an NCP, that's a non-player character, that's a soulless one, a psyop. Here's what happens. The psychotic, sociopathic, I'm a therapist too, by the way, so of course I've got way more insight into this side of things. Yeah. Again, the whole lifetime, I'm in my 50s now. You go, why did I train in this? Why did I study in that? And at a time such as this, now I'm like, oh my God. I needed all these strings to my bow to be able to have an in-depth, grounded conversation and understanding because of the work I've done to get to this point.
Right.
And so this is awful, though. Okay, so these bloodline families, not only do they corrupt and abuse the babies in the womb, because it happened to them, they come out and they are trained and they know they're going to be leaders or kings, etc. Right. So they go through rituals and these programmings that basically pound out the emotion.
Yeah.
And so you and I are walking down the road and we see an old lady, stuck in traffic, like confused, and there's cars coming. You and I would run out instantly. Wouldn't even think. Pro traffic, they would watch.
Oh, jeez.
And they are. And that's an example of the extreme differences in emotion, psychology, and psychopathy. So everyone comes in with a soul. You don't not come in with a soul through a physical body, through a human vessel, through a birth canal, through a woman with a vagina, to be brass tactics. But it's after that. And maybe there's a little bit of trauma before that. So many of these kids, it is really, really sad. However, they do know, and they have a brain, and they do know right from wrong.
Exactly.
And a lot of them have gone through horror and violence and abuse, and we didn't turn out like that.
Right. That's correct. That's such a great point. Now, I know I've kept you past the hour, and I'm so appreciative of that. I have so many more questions for you that I'm hoping we can connect again in the future when you have some time. I would love to speak with you again, but let's tell the folks where they can find you. Tell them about your conference. And again, I'll have everything running across the screen. I'll have screenshots, all the good stuff. So please tell folks where they can find you.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. I do appreciate it very, very much. And I know we didn't even get to the secret space programs or how the satanic warlocks and witches are infiltrated in the entire military, but we can cover that next time, definitely. And these are obviously not light-hearted subjects. This is heavy lifting, but it is where we are on the planet right now. But the only thing that people need to know about getting to me is Galactic Spiritual Informers. Galactic, because we all have a galactic heritage. Spiritual, because we are spirits in these bodies. We are having a spiritual experience, negative or positive. And informers, because the team and I, we're informing on everyone. We're informing the information that we never got, that we deserve to have, because we are the disclosure. Us and many, many, many others, you know. So galacticspiritualinformers.com. That's it. GSI, galacticspiritualinformers.com. And you'll get to me. I have a team. They screen everything, of course, you know, because there are some, you know, people out there that might need a little bit of help understanding this. And a lot of people get triggered by the information because they themselves have gone through SRA and all kinds of horrific things. And I have ultimate compassion for them. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I'm very much a warrior and a therapist and you know, news of the world. My dad would call me news of the world or mouth of the South. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. It's time. We've got to go. We've got to go. We're not holding back. The government's not doing their job. So we just push them to the side and we'll do it for them. You know? Brilliant. And as humans, are right.
Now, how often is this conference, or is it held in a particular place? Like, tell us a little bit about it.
The next one's in England in May 10th and May 11th. And I've got Praveen Mohan from India, Hugh Newman talking about the giants, the Nephilim, Elena Danaan talking about the latest things happening in space, because NASA will never tell you, and NASA actually don't know. We got Tony Rodriguez, who was the little boy kidnapped by the Illuminati, then sold into the military in the secret space programs. Then we've got Dr. Michael Sala, oh my God, who is trusted and revered in the highest levels of military on our planet. And then we've got JP. Oh my God, JP. JP was a soldier, special forces, well, Space Force. And he has been on and off planet in spacecraft the military have. And sometimes when people are seeing what they think is a UFO in the sky, it's not a UFO. It's a reverse engineered, anti-gravitational spacecraft that the military. He's been to the moon. He's been to Jupiter.
I saw him on Michael's show. He's great.
He came out for the first time on stage a couple of months ago at my conference.
Oh,
ever. Wow. Doing it again. England, May 10th. And then we always do one every year in America. This year we're going to Nashville, Tennessee. It will be in September. I'm still locking down the right venue. It's very important to get the venue right. We want to go because we just come back. We came back like a couple of weeks ago from Colorado. Like it's been galloping on like quick. Let's get the next two done. So May 10th, England, Eastbourne, East Sussex, over the ocean, ocean views. We're going to see more craft, you know, with a which they did in Colorado. People said, oh my God, they've been spraying the skies so crazy Tuesday and Wednesday. And then it settles. Then we were there Friday. You know, it's like, stop embarrassing yourselves. Like disclosure is happening. 1,000 people spacecraft. So, you know, and so in May and then again in September next year. So too. So England and America. And we do it every single year.
Wow. I hope to attend one down the road. Dani, thank you so much. Stick around, please. I definitely want to speak with you some more. Maybe we can schedule a future date. That would be brilliant. And thank you so much. This was absolutely wonderful. Your light shines through and inspires so many people, and I'm so grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline, and thank you for your great work too. And thanks to everybody watching. Bless you all.
Thank you. For those of you that are listening to the podcast version of this video, please be sure to visit Ethereal Encounters Unveiled on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch all of this astounding footage. Please subscribe as well. So the very first thing that I found that I thought was pretty astounding, and I had watched this congressional hearing, and when Congresswoman Lauren Boebert asked this question. It blew my mind right at that moment, and I'm sure if a lot of you watched it, you felt the same way. So during this congressional UAP hearing, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert posed a groundbreaking question. She asked, does the DoD manipulate human genetics using non-human DNA to enhance abilities or create hybrids? While no direct answer was given, the implications of such a question being publicly addressed were staggering and are staggering. And they touch on ethics, science, and the boundaries of human advancement. This moment that she asked that question, it really underscores a shift in the transparency and weight of these discussions. And I wanted to play this little clip for you from Ross Coolheart. I probably butchered his name, but listen to what he has to say.
Talking of biologics, by the way, did anyone catch the craziest question of the evening? And I'm not saying that in a pejorative way. The claims made by Congresswoman Lauren Boebert from Colorado. And she asked, there are rumors that have come up to the Hill of a secretive project within the DoD involving the manipulation of human genetics with what is described as non-human genetic material, potentially for the enhancement of human capabilities and hybrids. Are any of you familiar with that, yes or no? No, nobody gave her any kind of wow answer, but that is one hell of an allegation, that this is an allegation that has come to the attention of the Hill, of the Congress. Watch that.
So it really makes you wonder, like, why is a question like that even being asked in a congressional hearing? I think they know a lot more than they're admitting to, and hopefully disclosure will happen in an honest and fruitful way. So let's move on to some of the other clips that I found that I thought were pretty astounding. So here's a still image that I thought was pretty amazing. They posted that his dad took a photo and he didn't notice this until they were transferring it from his camera to his laptop. Nobody knows what it is, but I mean, look at the detail in that and the lights. So I really do enjoy seeing those types of images, and gives you something to think about. So this video here is really amazing. The person describes this as happening back in 2013. Like I said, on Reddit, you'll just find so much information and video out there if you do a little searching. This person lived in the rural part of Michigan, and he saw a strange object up in the sky near his home. So he jumped in his vehicle, followed it down a dirt road, and then suddenly turned so he would end up turning onto this other road. And at that point, he was running out of road. So he got out of his vehicle to take a better look, and then he saw this object moving towards him. I will let you watch the video, and then you can decide for yourself. right down on his vehicle there. That's insane. He hovered right over the vehicle. And then it's rotating. You can see the craft is rotating up here. Got some amazing footage. I think that was the end of it. I mean, that's pretty outstanding footage. It really makes you wonder. Like I said, I don't think that it's been edited in any way. It looks pretty straight up to me, and especially that beam of light. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. So now you guys can see why I love checking Reddit out for UFO footage. Here we have what it says in the caption. This is the most compelling UFO footage that was captured by U.S. Homeland Security officers from Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, when objects split into two before plunging into the Atlantic Ocean. Now, we've seen video like this before, but I've never seen this particular one with such clarity. So let me get this played for you. Now, as you can see, there's this craft kind of shape-shifting as it's traveling below the water, above the water. It's on land right now. I mean, I've never seen one this long before. I've only seen like snippets. I mean, and the fact that it's shape-shifting is just incredible. And again, this was recorded by Homeland Security. And here we go as it's kind of splitting into two. We can only imagine the speed that it's going at. Now it's above the ocean, the waters. And there we go. It's two craft now. I mean, I highly doubt this is any type of earthly technology. I don't know, guys. What do you think about this footage? It's pretty amazing to me. Now, this video here is pretty astounding. Whether it's real or not, we don't know. We don't know that about any of the footage that we see. This is supposedly being filmed in Peru. It's a Peru alien update, and they're claiming this is new footage. Who knows? There's a lot of trolls out there, but it's really amazing quality. It doesn't look to be doctored in any way, but like I said, you know, that's why I like to say discover your own truth. I mean, we all have belief system. Yes, there is the truth, and then there is our truth, but you watch this and decide for yourself. I mean, I've seen a lot of UFO footage with those like little ships dropping out of a larger ship. And then when they're behind trees, that's kind of hard to fake. So, I mean, that looks pretty real to me. But like I said, who knows? Pretty amazing footage. And of course, leave your commentary if you know anything about this footage or if you've seen it before. I'd love to hear your feedback. So here we have some UFO footage that's more recent. This was taken in Argentina, February 24th of 2024. Take a look at it and let me know your thoughts. I mean, that's pretty incredible footage right there. And it's interesting because on Reddit, you can kind of scroll, read people's comments, and get some feedback. Some people say satellites, drones, you know the drill. There's always debunking happening, but some of this footage just looks too authentic and too high tech to be any of the above. Again, let me know your thoughts. Now, this footage here was taken in Turkey, and it was authenticated by the government, by the Turkish government. And this was recorded, I think, originally 2007, 8, and 9. And again, it was authenticated by the Turkish government and analyzed to be proven authentic by the professionals at the Science and Technology Research Board of Turkey. The videos were taken by a security guard at a compound there, which is located across the beach. So I'm going to let you watch this and decide for yourself. It's pretty spectacular. You can hear some of the footage in the background as it's being recorded, such as a dog barking in the distance and so on. And there's also a link verifying this event. But let me get this played for you so you can see how spectacular it is and decide for yourself.
Şöyle yapma ha. Görüyor musun nasıl gidiyor? Ama yine olur. Vallahi yine yakaladım. Vallahi yine yakaladım. Ağır ağır gidiyor. Ağır ağır gidiyor. Ağır ağır gidiyor. Tut sabit. Aynı yerde. Aynen. Bak tam ayın altında bu. Denize yakın. Denize yakın. O nerede? Vallahi bak aşağıda. Geliyor. Denizin üzerinde bu. Denizin üzerinde geliyor. Aynısı be. Gir şuna. Allah Allah. Nedir bu böyle? Ay nerede? Ay da burada. Yakaladım. Ağır olacak. Şurada mı var? Tamam, şurada mı var? Ne var? Görüyor musun? Aha gitti yine. Yok oradan göremezsin.
Aç be.
Abi o merkezi bak görüyor musun? Duruyor orada.
Ben görüyorum da.
He. Bak
Uzunlar uzunlar.
zoomladım ya. Ağır ağır gidiyor değil mi Salih?
Çok yavaş gidiyor.
He?
Çok yavaş gidiyor.
Aha. Yine buldum ben. Yine buldum. Yine buldum ya. Ulan nedir bunlar ya? Arkadaş nedir bunlar ya? Böyle bir şey var mı ya? Yok yapma. Abi. Allah kahretsin seni. Bu ne ya? Vay vay vay vay vay vay. Baba gidiyor adam. Aa yok oldu. Yok. Vallahi yok oldu ya. Vallahi çok sağ ol. Tekne olmasa imkan yok. Ya. Orada var. Peki bu ne abi? Yaklaştır yine. Suyun üstünde lan bu. Suyun üstündeştir. Yanıyor. Yemin ediyorum ağır ağır gidiyor. Peki bir dakika. Şuraya tekrardan bakayım. Allah Allah.
Gir abi gir. Gir. Affetme.
Abi girdim ona.
Şu büyük yıldız olan videosu parlayın.
Onun yanında gidiyor. Çok ağır ağır gidiyor.
Kamerada nasıl görünüyor?
Karanlık
Yemin gibi görünüyor mu?
yok yok biraz zayıf gözüküyor.
Abi şu anda karanlık o dediğin şey ya. Ama arada parlıyor.
Evet.
Çok ufak ufak dikkatli bakmayınca hani başka yere bakarsın ya. Orada
Evet.
belirginleşiyor sanki.
Sis de var bu havada biraz farkında mısınız?
Evet abi gördüm ben onu.
Gördün mü?
Evet abi yıldızın hemen sağ köşesinde bir şey kaydı gitti bu arada.
Evet.
Harbi kaydı gitti yani.
Abi ben şu anda zoom'dayım.
Evet abi dediği gibi ya kayıp gidiyor ya. Şunun yanına baksana abi. Şu yıldız var ya. Onun sağ alt köşesinde yani dalgın gibi bakınca hemen belli oluyor. Nokta gibi bir şey ya. Bu arada uçak çakıp gidiyor ya.
Lan göz var size ya.
Abi Allah şükürler olsun bomba gözümüz var.
Abi sistem mi onu yoksa ışığını mı
Bak şu
kısalttı?
uçağı da çek. Fark. Öyle desinler.
Nerede abi?
Al abi.
Now they're continuing this in part 2, which I will continue to show you. I think it's pretty spectacular footage. Just a side note, one of the singularities of this case was that the images were made with a camera that had an adapter for close-ups of 200x optical, achieving a great amount of details of the objects that you're viewing. During this period, several minutes of close range video were taken of metallic-like UFOs floating or changing shape while in flight over the coast of Marma. Many special effects and imaging experts have tried to debunk this footage, but after objective observation with the goal of proving that it's a hoax, the experts studied the raw footage and were unable to find any evidence pointing in the direction of balloon, prop, model, or any other special effects. So that's pretty outstanding in and of itself. And let me continue with part 2.
Yalçın abi gördün mü?
Ha, ha.
Valla.
Ne kadar parlak değil mi Sami?
Sana gir yüzünü gir iyice.
Sen görüyor musun?
Gördüm.
Aa, nasıl bir şey bu ya? He?
Felaket.
Abi erken çıktılar. 2:20 geçiyor saat.
Saat yerinde nasıl görüyor?
Ha? Abi bu manyak bir şey ya. Bunda ışığı ilk defa parlak. Aha. Ha? Alkan bu ne böyle ya? Abi gidiyor değil mi Alkan?
Gidiyor. Gözünle.
He? Ne denize doğru gidiyor değil mi?
Denize doğru.
Aha şekil değişti. Oha. Şekil değişti Salih.
Işıklarını mı istedim?
Yo hiçbir şey yapmadı. Baba şekil değiştiriyor. Baba ışık gidiyor bir yana. Bak. Duruyor bu. Yemin duruyor. Baba ışık da bu tarafa gidiyor. Ciddi söylüyorum, ışık bir tarafa gidiyor. Ana. Ya böyle bir şey yok Alkan. Da uzaklaştı bak, fokus oldu. Heh. Baba bak ışık gidip geliyor. Sence nedir bu Alkan ya? Duruyor ama değil mi daha?
Biliyor.
Duruyor değil mi?
Duruyor.
Yaklaş. Çok enteresan bir olay ya. Hani nerede böyle direkt hiçbir şey yok ya. Gerçekten çok enteresan bir olay ya. Hayret bir olay ya. Ama var halbuki bak. Yanlış yok ya. Peki kız. Hiç hareket yok. Hiç hareket yok. Şey yok. Hiç hareket yok. İki, dört, 6 tane ışık. Vay be. Şuna bakar mısın? Duruyor, olduğu yerde duruyor. Titreme. Titreme. Gözünü kurban olayım, titreme. Bu ne ya? Böyle bir şey yok. Ne yapıyor ya? Gidiyor. Vallahi yakaladım. Bak. Yok yok. Aynen. Öyle yağmurlu var.
So as you can see, that's pretty spectacular footage, and it's clearly been debunked. Let me know your thoughts below. I really enjoy watching these types of events taking place because they really do give you food for thought. Now, this next footage that I'm going to show you displays what they call observables, and it was outlined by Lou Elizondo. And it's the only one not present being transmedium travel, meaning that traveling between multiple environments, such as like water, air, outer space, etc. And the key points are that the object is seen going behind the clouds, low visibility. The object shimmers as a metallic surface, seamless, no signs of propulsion. The object is seen making multiple sharp turns at very high speeds, instant acceleration or anti-gravity technology. And it's the original uploader stated it made no sonic boom when it should be going at the speed that it's going. So clearly it should have made some type of noise or sonic boom, and that the object is roughly calculated to be going around 1,800 kilometers per hour. So that's pretty amazing. Let me play this footage for you. This will be the last one for today. And again, folks, if you want to see this footage, if you're listening to this video via podcast, please be sure to head on over to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled over at YouTube, and you can subscribe to all of our awesome videos there in collaboration with the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network. So please be sure and subscribe and give this a like. If you like these types of videos, be sure to let me know. I love watching them. I find them fascinating, and a lot of them are not being revealed to us by our governments, which they should be, even if they are debunked as drones or some type of advanced technology. We should have access to this. We shouldn't have to go searching on Reddit and other forums to be able to see this footage. So do let me know if you enjoyed this, and I'll be able to share some more with you. Thank you so much for watching.